Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Barricade. This is Papa Denk, and we want to remember the Iron Sheik tonight. He passed away today. Our condolences to his friends and family, and it's just a sad day in the wrestling world. So I want to get this episode going real fast right now. So let's welcome my very special guest, the one and only Ellie Smooth. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
I'm sad. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's fires out in Connecticut affecting New York City and Long Island right now. So we're all under weather advisory. And, we lost the Iron Sheik today. So I just want to start off with your thoughts on Sheik's passing.
Yeah, man. I woke up this morning and I saw the news and it just tore me apart because I've known Sheik since I was a young kid and had the honor to, be around him a lot. And we lost a true legend. I mean, Sheik, people may hate him, but he was one of the best guys in the wrestling industry, man. And he's going to be truly missed.
Yeah, no doubt. We're going to put up his remembrance right there in the corner for the rest of the episode. But it's a big loss to everyone. I mean, the reaction around the wrestling world has been tremendous today, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, whatever, social media. So our thoughts to his family right now, obviously number one.
Absolutely. It's just like I said, it's more of a tragedy, because you didn't hear too much about him, and then all of a sudden, just you see the news that he passed away, and it hits you hard. It really does.
Yeah, he was just tweeting recently. So
yeah.
All right, let's go into your family heritage. Let's start with that. You grew up in I'm going to say the most powerful wrestling dynasty there is. I mean, it can't get bigger than the Samoan dynasty.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're actually the biggest wrestling family in the professional wrestling. Before it used to be the Von Erichs and then the Harts. The list goes on, but we just went right over that. Yeah, we're about maybe 16 deep right now.
16 deep. Now, usually I don't go into people's thoughts on what's going on in the product right now, but since you're a very, very special guest of mine, I want to ask you.
I appreciate that.
No problem, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm so excited to have you on, and I just want to get your thoughts on what's going on with the bloodline recently.
It's kind of hard, every time I think I know what's going on, they throw a monkey wrench in the whole program. So, first of all, the storyline is great, but then again, it's hard to see it because in reality, we're all very close family. And
right.
If, it's kind of hard to see that, we want to be together and united. And by them trying to split up and all that, it kind of like, it hits home. It really does. Whether it's a storyline or what, it does hit home, because, how close we are.
All right. Absolutely. Let's start off with how you're growing up in that dynasty right now. So tell us about how you grew up a little bit so that people know how it was to grow up in this amazing family.
Well, I mean, it was hard, but it wasn't hard. I tell a lot of people that because when I was young, I really didn't look at the business like it is or when I got into it. But training at a young age and starting at age 15 in the wrestling business, I broke in 1986. And then I was on the road in 87 and it's been going on from there. And it's great. I love my family and I'm glad that we could make a big impact on the wrestling business, working with WWE and, other the biggest wrestling federations and all that. I've had a great, time wrestling and just, all the years I've been involved in wrestling, it's been nothing but great. And I can't see myself getting out of it, even though I know I have to retire one day, but it's going to be hard to do that.
I mean, you might have to retire from in-ring wrestling, but you don't have to leave the business. You could do something.
No, absolutely. It's funny because I'm actually talking to WWE, trying to go back as an agent or producer right now.
Oh, awesome.
So we got to wait a little bit. I already got the phone call. They're in a hiring freeze right now. So when that's over, we'll see what happens and we'll go from there. But if I'm not in there, I'll be involved somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could do your own podcast too, man.
Thought about that as well. I got tons of guys that can get on there, so that's something to think about as well.
Awesome. All right, tell me a little about your training when you decided, hey, I'm going to be in the family business. I'm going to be a wrestler? Who were your trainers, and what was it like going through that process for you?
Well, back when we lived in Connecticut, my dad used to train guys, and we had the ring, and we used to set it up in the backyard.
Oh, okay.
So, I started running around and doing things and, doing stuff in the backyard. And then once we moved from Connecticut to Pennsylvania, and my dad opened up the Wild Samoan Training Center in Whitehall, PA, I was actually helping my dad train his students. And it was like training and learning at the same time. But it's natural for all of us. I don't know why it's in our blood, but, it's not hard to go in. It wasn't hard for me to learn the moves and get into the business, and because it was just it was natural for me. So there was things that I learned, of course, but when I had it, and that goes for all of us. There's our whole family. They're just people go and they look at us and they ask us, how are you guys so agile and for as big as you are? And I tell them it's just natural for us, and
genetics.
I have no word for it. It's just in our blood.
That's how you're born.
That's why they call it the bloodline.
That's right. It's just natural athleticism for your whole family, man. That's great. That's awesome.
Yes.
Tell me about your first opponent that you wrestled in front of a crowd. Who was that opponent, and what were your emotions going through that process of your first match?
I actually wrestled for my uncle Sika down in Pensacola, Florida. Me and my dad, we went down there to do a show for him. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I had my first match was with actually Bob Holly. Oh, he went as he wasn't Bob Holly at that time, but he was my uncle helped him, trained him in the business, and my first match was with him, and I didn't even know that he would become who he is, and me being getting a name for myself in the wrestling business as well. But it was an experience with him. The first time going out there, I was blown up. I was scared. Had butterflies in my stomach and everywhere else. But that was a learning process. And I had a great time wrestling against him. And from there, I went to wrestling other big names. As the years went on, I had opportunity to work with Iron Sheik, Junkyard Dog, Paul Orndorff. I mean, the list goes on. King Kong Bundy. Sergeant Slaughter. I wrestled all those guys at a young age.
You're bringing me back to my childhood, man. Holy
yeah. This November actually made 37 years I've been in the wrestling business.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Congratulations, man. That's
Thank you.
Quite a legacy you built for yourself, too, in your own.
Yeah, I've wrestled all around the world. I used to travel a lot. Me and my brother, we used to do the USO tours for about 6 years. I did those for the military, and besides wrestling in the States. And I've been all around the world. I've been to Europe so many times, Italy, and the Middle East. Right now, I do hold the QPW, Qatar Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship, which it was actually a four-way against me and a gentleman from Europe, from Austria, Bambi Killer, Chris Robert, and then with Alberto Patron and Rob Van Dam. So I ended up pinning Rob Van Dam and winning the Qatar Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship.
That's awesome. Serena says, wow, 37 years. That's awesome. Congrats. Thank you.
Long time. I still got some years in me.
All right. Yeah. I mean, you look very healthy, so you're good to go.
Well, yeah. I feel good. Everybody knows. But just recently, I just had a kidney transplant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was on dialysis for about a year and a half or so, and just this March, while I was on dialysis, my wife, she always tell me, don't worry, I'll be your donor. And, I told her, don't think like that, because if it doesn't happen, I don't want to see my wife sad, knowing that she's not going to be my match. But the good Lord was listening, because she took the test and she was my perfect match. Blood, really? Kidney type, everything. So we had the surgery on March 28th, and she's doing great, and I'm healing unbelievable.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. And you're already cleared to wrestle?
No, I'm not wrestling, but I'm doing a lot of signings. Like this weekend, I'm in Jacksonville, Florida at the River City WrestleCon. I'm there for 2 days, and I have some other stuff coming up. But I told the doctor, I said, I got to get in the ring sometime. If it's not full time, it'll be, on special occasions. And I showed him what I do and all that. Right. And he says, hey, if you can do it, he goes, just make sure, you don't get hit directly in the stomach, but your kidney is fine. But he goes, just take it easy and give yourself some time to heal and try it out. So I'm just taking my time slowly. And when the time's right, I'll get back in there.
Awesome. Awesome. You got anything coming up in the Northeast up here?
Actually, I'm up in Pennsylvania a couple times. I'm up at the Hamburg Field House. I'm there in September, I believe. And then I am in Gettysburg in August. And then actually, hopefully in September, I'll be up in New Jersey for the 90s Con for Tommy Fuhrer.
Oh, that's right. I heard 90s Con is coming. They did 80s Con not too long ago.
Yeah. I would have been there, but fortunately, I was in a hospital at that
time. All right. Before we go into your run in WW and ECW, I want to talk about what do you do when you're away from wrestling? Like, what hobbies do you have? Like, what's your extracurricular activities you like to do?
It's funny that you said that, because before I wanted to get into wrestling, I've always wanted to be a police officer in law enforcement. So while I was wrestling all these years, I actually had a second thing that, hobby, I wouldn't say a hobby, but a job I used to do. And I was in law enforcement for about 17 years.
Oh, wow. That's
yeah, I worked for the Department of Homeland Security. I was contracted with federal marshals. I used to, pick up guys on warrants and take guys, federal high maintenance federal prisoners all around the United States.
Wow, man, that's amazing. I took criminal justice in college, man. I wanted to be a cop too.
Yeah, I always wanted to be, because I had an uncle on my mom's side that he was a police officer for 31 years. And when I was young, he used to take me on rides with him, and I seen a lot of stuff. So it was kind of exciting for me, so I wanted to do it. But then I ended up getting into wrestling, which I love. And I said, hey, I can do both. I'll do it. And that's what I did.
Awesome. All right, let's talk about your time in WWECW. How was that experience for you? And what was probably your highlight match of your run there?
With WWE at that time, it was WWF. I was actually 17. Yeah, 17 years old. And, Chief Jules Strongbow and Sergeant Slaughter gave me actually my first tryout over there. And when I was there, I was on TV a little bit, but I was mostly on the road a lot. They had, back then, they used to have A and B teams, if you're on the East Coast, West Coast. And I was on the road at a young age and working with, Smoking Guns and Marty Jannetty and the 1, 2, 3 Kid. I was basically married to Sean. I wrestled with him so many times, and I was happy just to be on the road. I was wrestling. I was traveling with my family and with Uncle Fuji. We were with him, me and Yoko. We always traveled together, and with Rey Mysterio. So I enjoyed it. And then after that, they wanted to put a character on me. Mm-hmm. And at that time, they wanted to do like a rap gimmick on me, because when I was young, me and my cousins, we used to get together and I used to do the beatbox, and Rikishi and Yoko, they used to rap. So my cousin says, "Man, why don't you try that?" And they talked to the office, and they were good with it, but I wasn't comfortable. So I asked my dad to send me somewhere, and so I can get used to it. And he called Carlos Colon, and I went down to Puerto Rico. And when I got down there, they didn't want to see that character. They wanted me to be a savage, just like our family. So I ended up doing that. But I enjoyed being in Puerto Rico. Working over there, it was great. And when I came back from there, I re-signed with WWE. We were on contract for 3 years. We did 2 years out of that, and then from there we went straight to ECW. And ECW was great. ECW was, well, Paul Lee, I mean, man, that guy he's a brain. He is a brain. He's talented. He's been with our family for a long time, and I have nothing but respect for him. Working for him, it was actually an honor, because he let us actually do what we wanted, with his, his okay. But we went out there and we drew some money for him. When we were working for him, he had us with the Gangsters, the Dudley Boys, so we were on the road, working with them, and it was great.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, he's still going strong with your family right now.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
As we speak, I mean, there's a big thing coming on this Friday, so with Jimmy and Jay. But wow. All right, awesome. All right, let's go into an opponent you wanted to wrestle but didn't get a chance to wrestle, and why?
Hmm.
And you've been with some of the greats.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of guys that I wrestled against, but one of them probably would be Bret Hart.
Okay. All right. I
Even
mean,
though I knew Bret, and we were basically like raised around each other, because my dad was very close with their dad, and but never got an opportunity to work with Bret, and I would love to.
all right. Maybe, something can happen behind the scenes. You guys could do
You
something.
never know.
You never
Hey, I'll
know.
put him over.
In
I'll put him over
wrestling, you
one
never
shot.
know.
I'm down.
Hey, man. There's so much we could touch upon with the Samoan dynasty. What are your thoughts on the legacy you want to leave behind, so people know, hey, this is what you did, and this is what it is for you that you left behind?
Well, all the years that I've been in the business, I've always respected everybody, and I have a lot of respect for a lot of the boys, and I want to keep it that way. And I just want people to know that, I busted, excuse my language, but I busted my ass to earn what I had. And, I never had nothing handed to me, even though our family is big and, but I wanted to work for what I had. And of course, my dad helped me through a lot, but I wanted to be that person where I said, hey, I want to do this on my own. And I accomplished a lot on my own, like overseas and, working for European companies and all that. And I'm just grateful that I had the opportunity to work a lot around the world and experience a lot working with different, wrestlers in different countries and all that.
Right.
So that's what I want to be left as. And if I can I have a younger son that's interested in the business. I have an older son that right now, he used to wrestle a little bit when he was younger, but, he got out of it. And but my younger son, he wants to wrestle. He's only 15 and he's already 6'3", 260 pounds. So
Wow.
he's got the Samoan side in him. And, hopefully we can get him in the ring because that's what he wants to do. So if he wants to do it, I'm not going to stop him. I told him, let it be a hobby for now. But if you make it big, go all out.
Good, man. My son's the same way, man. That's all he wants to do since he was 13 is be a professional wrestler. So he's working his way to it. He's trying to get a car so he can drive to. He wants to go to Creator Pro up here in New York.
Okay. All right.
So
awesome.
That's probably the best school, bar none right now. Up here at least, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's right. They're past my cross one day. You never know.
Yeah. I'm thinking. I live in Tampa, Florida right now, so I'm thinking about opening up a gym down here to keep my dad's name going as a Wild Samoan Training Center. Because recently, when COVID hit, my dad had to shut down his school because of that. So I want to open one back up and to keep it going in his name and people knowing about the Wild Samoan Training Center, because we had a lot of people that came through there. Gene Snitsky. We trained Batista. I did a lot one-on-one with Dave Batista. I mean, Billy Kidman. Who else? I mean, there's so many that came out of our gym that made it in the industry. So I want to keep that going. So if that's my next plan as well.
Awesome. Now, it's very famous in the wrestling world where ribs are played. So I'm sure you got a great rib story for me.
You know what? I've seen a lot of ribs done to a lot of other guys, but to be honest with you, I was raised the old school way. My dad always told me, when you're in the locker room, sit in your corner, don't bother anybody, because if you rib somebody, they're going to rib you back and you're not going to like it. So don't do it. And I never did. I messed around a few with the guys that I know, but I never did a serious rib. Well, I shouldn't say that because I did. I have a good one. Actually, I did in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
There was this young kid. He used to go as El Exotico, like a queer gimmick. And we used to ride with him to the towns in Puerto Rico. And every time he knew he was on first, but he would never get dressed. He would sit in the hallway and talk to people, and he wouldn't be in the locker room. And the referees telling him, "Where's his real name was Felix? Where's Felix? Where's Felix?" And I'm like, "He's out there. He's on first." So this went on. We were wrestling 5 days out of the week in Puerto Rico. We only had 2 days off. So every time he knew he was first, but he would not he wouldn't be ready. So one day I said, I'm gonna fix his ass. I went over there and I had some yoko that I got from Japan. And I took his trunks out of his bag and they were in the locker room and I rubbed it in the crotch area and I'm rubbing it all over. And next thing you know, we went over there and we waited till the last minute to tell him that, he's on.
Right.
And I went over there. I told him, I said, Felix, you're on first. The bell's ringing in 5 minutes. Hurry up. You got to get dressed. And he's like, oh, my God. And he's going over. He puts his trunks on. And next thing you know, he's putting his boots on. And ding, ding, ding. There's the bell. And he gets in the match. And I'm watching. And he's all over the place. He's taking bumps here. He's falling here. But he didn't stop. He just kept moving around. And I'm laughing. And as soon as he got beat 1, 2, 3, he didn't even stay. He ran out of the ring. Ran straight for the locker room, and he came in there and he's screaming. He goes, oh my, his balls were on fire. And he went over there and stripped and he laid underneath the shower and he did not move. And we're sitting there cracking up. And he didn't know to the longest time that I did it. And then when he did it, he tried to grip me back, but it never worked.
It never worked. That's a great story, man. I love it.
Yeah.
We got another question, man. What if you could have either Travis Cook or Playable Double H from PYT Inc. in New Genesis Wrestling? I have no idea what that's about.
Me neither.
I thought that was a question for you, but it was not.
Somebody advertising something, right?
Nobody's advertising, man. This is the first. Nobody comes and advertises here. Hey, man, listen. Unfortunately, I have another guest coming up, but I would love to have you come back on the show.
Absolutely, and I apologize, for not on time, but next time we can have more time and talk about a lot of other stuff, and I would love to be back on. Love to be.
I'd love to have you back, man. You're so funny, but I don't get nervous much, but I'm nervous now, man. I don't know why.
Don't sweat it, man.
I feel it's like my first time podcasting. But I appreciate you. Let everybody know where you're going to be next and where everybody can follow you.
Well, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, underneath Lloyd Onawai, the Great Alofa on Instagram, Lloyd Onawai on Twitter. I'll be in Jacksonville this weekend on the 10th and 11th at River City WrestleCon. And I'm there with a lot of guys. I mean, there's tons of legend superstars there, from Ron Simmons to Kurt Angle to Paige is there to Nia Jax's going to be there. I mean, the names go on and on. I think Bret Hart's actually going to be there as well. So, I mean, it's packed with legends and, future superstars there. And then after that, I believe I'm in New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I start doing my PA tour. So follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, and I always advertise where I'm at. And if you're in the area, come out, get an autograph or buy a T-shirt or whatever you want to do, or just come and shake my hand and have a conversation. I'm willing, and I love to talk with the fans and get to know them. That's something that's important in this business. So I love doing that.
Absolutely, man. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Everybody else, I will see you in a few short minutes for the Big O. He's going to be talking about his NYWC championship coming up at
all right,
next show. But hold on a sec, Lloyd. Don't go away. Everybody else, see you in a few.